I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him, more power to him.
Biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out. After I seen him a little bit tired, I didn't want to put too much hurt on him, but I wanted the fans to get a good experience. But there was a point where all of my aggression and like super violence and like I'm gonna knock this guy out and show him, it went away when I wasn't getting hit.
Floyd Mayweather, no stranger to the world of boxing and theatrics, has shared his unfiltered thoughts on the lawsuit involving Jake Paul and claims that the fight against Mike Tyson was scripted during a live session. Mayweather reportedly called for the end of fake fights that tarnish the reputation of boxing. His remarks came as news appeared about Jake Paul facing legal challenges over claims that the bout was staged, fueling widespread debates about the integrity of celebrity boxing matches. Mayweather expressed his dismay at the current trajectory of boxing, where spectacle often takes precedence over skill.
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that.
He stated that fights like Paul versus Tyson undermine the years of hard work, discipline, and sacrifice that professional fighters put into their craft. Mayweather was emphasizing that the sport requires real dedication and authenticity to keep its respect and credibility. The undefeated boxing champion addressed the wider issue of celebrity and influencer boxing, criticizing it for prioritizing entertainment value over genuine competition. He argued that while such events may draw attention to the sport, they risk alienating longtime fans and damaging its legacy. Mayweather, who himself participated in high-profile exhibition matches, distinguished his ventures as respectful of the sport's core values and accused others of exploiting boxing for quick monetary gain based on his claims against Jake. Paul Mayweather didn't mince words. He suggested that if the fight was indeed scripted, it was a disservice to the fans who paid to watch an authentic battle. He added that incidents like this could harm the future of boxing by eroding trust between the sport and its audience. Mayweather further suggested that the rapid rise of influencer boxing could lead to tighter regulations, as these events often blur the lines between professional.
So, I'm proud of him. I'm not really upset. Even like, it was so crazy. I remember just a while back, his brother was like, "Oh, I didn't get paid. It was just like I said before. He just want to keep his name out there. You know, as long as he attaches his name to mine, he gonna keep my name out there. Remember what he said? He said, "Oh, Mayweather ain't gonna. He didn't pay me. He didn't pay me. Where's the lawsuit? If you didn't get paid, where's the lawsuit?" So it's a bunch of bullshit. But like I said before, they know what they're doing. Both brothers.
He drew a comparison to the equipment used by tennis champion Novak Djokovic, stressing that the sleeve was intended to help maintain Tyson's long-term physical health rather than hide any underlying problems in the end of the battle. Sparks questions that stretch well beyond the confines of the ring. Was Mike Tyson's knee pad merely a trivial accessory, or does Sonnen have a point in viewing it as a piece of a meticulously crafted storyline? For now, the enigma persists, sparking debates about the future of boxing and what it signifies for fans who yearn for both excitement and authenticity. At the core of the issue lies the growing tension between boxing's emergence as a form of entertainment and its roots as a legitimate sport. However, as details like these surface, it becomes evident that the difference between the two is rapidly fading. For Mayweather, the message was clear. The sport of boxing deserves better, and it's time to bring back real, unscripted competition while fans were likely swept up in the excitement. Sonnen wasn't convinced, particularly after noticing a seemingly trivial detail that caught his attention. For Sonnen, it wasn't the punches or the pre-fight drama that sparked his doubts.
He sucks, or oh, he carried him, and more on that in a moment. The only result that I think people truly would have been happy with is a Mike Tyson knockout of Jake Paul. I think that's the only one that would have sufficed, and that wasn't happening. There was never really any doubt. He landed a couple punches early on, but there was never really a question as to whether or not that would happen. I think Jake carried him. I think Jake didn't want to knock him out. I'm not sure if he could have, but he definitely took his foot off the gas last couple rounds for sure. And ultimately, I'm okay with that. I predicted a Jake Paul decision I thought it would be a little bit more competitive to get to the decision, but ultimately I'm okay.
It was something far more subtle yet, in his view, revealing when Mike Tyson walked through that tunnel and he stumbled. Everything became so blatantly obvious. Sonnen explained, highlighting a detail that left him suspicious. Tyson's knee pad, he added, in my life I've never seen that. I have never seen a boxer wear a knee pad, not in practice, not in training, not on the heavy bag in his garage, not ever, ever, ever. For the expert, the knee pad's existence and the commentator's complete silence about it raised a red flag. He added the whole reason that it stood out as, hey, there's more to this. The fact that they ignored it like it wasn't happening, although there was nothing inherently wrong with a boxer. Donning such a piece of gear, the way Tyson stumbled, paired with his choice of equipment and the commentator's deliberate silence, gave the impression of something intentional. Sonnen continued, we let guys fight all the time. I'm sharing with you an upright posture of boxing. I've never seen it, and I don't think they have either, but they didn't touch on it, and that's what made it suspicious. So what's really on the line for Jake Paul? Each fight is another step in his chase of boxing legitimacy. A journey marked by constant scrutiny and doubt, taking on a legend like Tyson was meant to solidify his place, but Sonnen's comments now inject an extra layer of intrigue into what was already shaping up to be a divisive showdown. Looking back at the mistake, it might have amounted to nothing after all. The so-called baddest man on the planet is already 58, yet with the knee pad in place, Sonnen couldn't shake the feeling that there were hints of something carefully planned at the same time. Mike Tyson's agent Andrew Ruff addressed the growing speculation surrounding the knee pad in an interview with USA Today Sports, explaining that what appeared to be a knee pad was in fact a compression sleeve meant as a preventative measure, not a reaction to an injury. He drew a comparison to the equipment used by tennis champion Novak Djokovic, stressing that the sleeve was intended to help maintain Tyson's long-term physical health rather than hide any underlying problems in the end of the battle. Sparks questions that stretch well beyond the confines of the ring. Was Mike Tyson's knee pad merely a trivial accessory, or does Sonnen have a point in viewing it as a piece of a meticulously crafted storyline? For now, the enigma persists, sparking debates about the future of boxing and what it signifies for fans who yearn for both excitement and authenticity. At the core of the issue lies the growing tension between boxing's emergence as a form of entertainment and its roots as a legitimate sport. However, as details like these surface, it becomes evident that the difference between the two is rapidly fading.
How does he feel now? He might have been excited when he said he wanted to do it, but how does he feel now? You got months and months and months of this.
I just want to see something other than those mitts.
Does he dismiss does he wish he didn't say yes to it?
It's like Matt always says, play to your strengths.
Yeah,
no
but you know, you got to take that payday. I mean, what did he make out of that fight? He probably made $10 million or something.
Yeah,
and Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like he gets guys that he's bigger
than,
the only
younger
time
than.
he fought another boxer his size was Tom Fury, and he lost. Tom Fury?
Good fight.
Tommy Fury.
Very
Tommy
good
Fury,
fight.
yeah.
Very good.
Meanwhile, it was tough for Francis Ngannou to see his dear friend Mike Tyson battle Jake Paul Ngannou, who had Tyson by his side for his boxing debut against Tyson. Fury acknowledged the legendary boxer for lasting the full distance with Paul, though he admitted he didn't enjoy witnessing this particular version of him. Ngannou told TMZ Sports, "It just hurt me to see Mike there in that situation. Like knowing Mike what he can do and seeing him there with Jake Paul and Jake Paul like, hey man, like that sight just hurt me. Although you have to give it to Mike, man," he added. This is 58-year-old Mike Tyson that's been doing this sport since 12 years old. I believe, and to still be able to stand up on his own at this age, I think it's impressive stand up against a young 27-year-old guy, even though I would say he wouldn't be at that level, but wasn't that much of a threat for Mike, you have to give it up to him. Tyson and Paul faced off from the very beginning, initially exchanging fierce energy. However, as the fight progressed, Tyson's pace began to slow.
They're going to do everything they can to get him ready for that. There's a lot of money in this. And they have 16-ounce gloves, and they have to fight 2 minutes.
So you have to say, how much has Mike Tyson lost from that 20-year-old guy in the 37 years since then, which is crazy. It'll be 38 by the time.
In a later interview, Paul admitted that he had intentionally eased off, guiding the boxing icon through the rounds to prevent any harm. Moreover, Jake Paul expressed his disappointment, stating that he had hoped 58-year-old Mike Tyson would have shown more resilience during their match over the weekend. He said, "I wish he would have put up a better fight so that I could have risen more and done more. He was surviving. That was the only thing I didn't like." While multiple states declined to approve the fight, Texas gave its approval on the condition that the match be shortened to 8 2-minute rounds instead of the usual 10 3-minute E1s. Additionally, the fighters were required to wear 14 ounces gloves rather than the standard 10 ounces gloves to reduce the impact of the blows for added safety. Ultimately, the 27-year-old Paul triumphed over an opponent who had been away from professional boxing for almost 2 decades. Perhaps one day he'll square off against a boxer closer to his own age and in their prime instead of facing a former MMA fighter or someone nearly 3 times his senior. However, as the fight progressed, Tyson's pace began to slow. In a later interview, Paul admitted that he had intentionally eased off, guiding the boxing icon through the rounds to prevent any harm. Moreover, Jake Paul expressed his disappointment, stating that he had hoped 58-year-old Mike Tyson would have shown more resilience during their match over the weekend. He said, "I wish he would have put up a better fight so that I could have risen more and done more. He was surviving. That was the only thing I didn't like.